What's up, guys? It's me, Tim, with Gutter Growth. Me and Grant are interviewing Scott Whaley. Scott, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your background? I know that you're with Spectra Metals.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Really excited to be here. I've been following you guys for several weeks now, and what you guys are doing for the industry, and absolutely fired up about it, and extremely grateful for the opportunity to be here sharing with you guys this afternoon. I'm really nothing special. I'm in sales with Spectra. I'm actually director of sales for Spectra. Been here for 5 years. Went to school actually got a medical license as a nurse several years ago, and decided and learned early on, actually before I went full-time into nursing, right after graduating, that I could make a lot more money in sales. And but that didn't negate the fact that I still like helping people, right? And so I've got into sales, and so for the past 25 years of my life, I've been in sales and love it. A friend of mine came to work here at Spectra probably 7 years ago, and was talking about me to his boss and asked for a phone call. And 2 short years later, I found myself over here for an interview, and the rest is history. And so I came in, if I'm being completely transparent with you, I knew nothing about gutters. I knew every home that we lived in had them. And I just thought the basic premise of a gutter was to keep me from getting soaking wet when I went in and out of the door, right? Little did I know that there was a very important need for them, and they had a function, a very much needed function. And so the appeal to change careers, because I had been with another company for 10 years and was completely content and happy with where I was at. And one of the biggest appeals to me about the Spectra family was just the people. The fact that it's a family-owned and ran business, and that the core group that was at the executive level, the leadership team, were all just really phenomenal men and women of God. And it was an opportunity for me to be led and further myself professionally, and then also be part of an amazing group of people. So here we are, 5 years, going on 6 years later now, loving every bit of it.
How long has Spectra Metals been around?
Spectra Metals has been around since 1978. Pretty awesome story. Our founder, Tom Snell Sr., veteran, by the way, started the company down in 1978 down in Clearwater, Florida, in his garage. He had
not too far from me,
right? And so he started down in Clearwater and worked relentlessly and built it into a regional powerhouse down there. And then in 1992, he and his sons decided to move the corporate office here to Atlanta. And since then they've been working, I have been working, since for the past, like I said, 5-6 years, to help grow this thing to the national powerhouse that it is today. We are still veteran, family owned and operated. The 3 sons play a very important role and very active day in and day out. And so under their tutelage and wisdom, joined with Senior, we've got hundreds of years of experience just in ownership combined, not to mention our executive team. And so, it's really awesome to see the fact that you can start with a vision like you guys have with this gutter growth, and you identified a need, right? And you offer a solution, and then you decide to dig in and take that thing to the next level to see what it's grown to, and then to be able to have your children, your boys come alongside you and join arms and help grow it into the company that it is today. And we're very proud of the fact that, we are the largest manufacturer and distributor of rainwear in the country. And, we've got, we started out, like I said, in Clearwater, Florida. We've got our original headquarters down there, moved to Atlanta in 92. So we've got manufacturing and distribution here. We've got manufacturing and distribution in Dallas, Texas, as well as Chicago. So we've got over 1 million square feet dedicated to manufacturing and distribution alone.
How many locations do you have right now?
35 right now, with a written plan to have 70 over in the next 2 years.
2 years.
Yep.
70. Wow, that's amazing. So you guys plan on doubling the business in 2 years?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are you going to do? You're going to be in every state, or what's that look like?
We want to be where you are, where the need is. I mean, there are 300 some odd million people in the United States. The majority of them have homes, and all those homes need to be protected, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Gutters aren't glamorous, but they're needed, right?
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time I seen a house crack in half from not having gutters. Completely took away the foundation.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens. People think we're just snake oil salesmen when we're talking about that kind of stuff, but it happens every day.
So is the founder still involved, or is it just the sons?
Oh yes, he's still involved.
Is it?
He's very well still involved. Yes.
That's awesome.
I wish you guys could meet him. I wish they would slow down enough to come and sit down and start doing, because when I say good people, I mean, I've known Grant for a long time. He's what I would consider good people for all intents and purposes. What I know of you, Tim, you seem like a good person, but to see that, and when I say good people, I don't mean just, moral and ethical behavior. I'm talking about good, solid, hard, down to earth people that really care about helping other people. And that's what I have the opportunity and privilege to work for.
How did you guys get to where you're at now, the company?
Can you be more specific?
Just like what
we
do you
just want to know how you're crushing it, how you got so big.
Yeah.
Relentlessness. Well, it starts off obviously with a vision. You got to have a CCMP, which is a clear, concise mental picture of what you want, and then roll out a roadmap to get there. Obviously, for proprietary reasons, I'm going to keep some of that under wraps, but obviously it's pretty quite simple. We strive to put out a quality product. We want to make sure that logistics are in place. That's why we want to be where you are. And Grant can attest to this because he's dealt with several of our locations there in Texas. Some have a smaller footprint than the others, but the fact that we've got the number of RDCs that we have and the opportunity to do intercompany transfers, there's really nothing that we can't get to somebody from one of the other warehouses, distribution center within a week or shorter. Yep. So you've got quality and then the customer service aspect of it. That's one thing that nobody can take away from us. We really care about our people. And from a sales perspective, what I root my success from and what I try to train and develop my team on is helping other people. I'll tell you a funny story. When I first got here, I started out on the retail division because we've got a massive retail division as well as contractor, right? Okay. And when I came over to the contractor side, I was getting ready to go on my first appointment, and Mr. Snell Senior asked me, he said, "All right, Whaley, give me your spiel." And so I'm chest out, I'm talking about, well, we're veteran owned, we're family operated, we've got everything's American made. He said, no. He said, "What are you going to do to help me make money?" Now, he was not asking as the owner of Spectra. He was asking as the customer I was going to meet with.
Right. Little role playing. Absolutely. And guys will tell you that just absolutely floored me. And so from that moment forward, every conversation, whether it be phone call, text, or person or otherwise, that is rooted at the base of how we go to market. And so for the past 5 years, I've been extremely diligent in not only implementing and using that as rule of thumb for myself, but also training our team to be to have that same thought process, right? Because Tim, earlier we were talking about Christmas lights and things like that. I don't care if I've got an example that I don't want to share online here to be put out in the public just yet, that I use regarding a little Johnny, but it's about taking a grass cutter, a young teenage kid that's cutting grass, and investing in him and growing him into your largest number one gutter installer with crews and locations all over the country, right? And so the fact that I have the ability to do that, supported by the infrastructure that Spectra provides, it's untouchable, man. Absolutely untouchable. Yeah. It sounds like you're in the people business as well as the gutter business.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Gutters are just a ancillary wear that we offer as a service we provide. Our service, our product really is people and watching them grow and develop. That's why I was excited to be asked to come and speak with you guys today, because I really am excited about what you guys are doing for the industry. Because again, gutters aren't glamorous, but they're needed. I mean, I don't know, fun fact, if you guys would indulge me for a minute, I didn't know this until here recently, but gutters have been around since the ancient times. Were y'all aware of that?
It's been a long time.
No, I wasn't.
So
can you tell us the history about it?
Absolutely. So man's been channeling water for drinking water, washing, and irrigation as far back as 3000 BC.
Wow.
3,000. It's actually, and I'm probably mutilating this, but the Harappan, Harappan civilization, right? And then Roman architects used gutters on roadways and stuff like that. And then later just started developing along rooftops. And then they would store that water that they collected from the rooftops in big cisterns. And that's what they would use for bathing and drinking and that kind of thing. And then, the Roman architecture made its way over to Great Britain. Prominent structures like churches and buildings and stone roofs and things like that started incorporating gutters. And then the gargoyles that you see on those big ancient buildings and stuff like that, they were popular decorative at the end as what we would use a downspout now, right?
Oh, yeah.
But, at the same time, that's when residential gutters started going into play, right? I didn't even know this. And then in the late 1700s, rain gutters began appearing in the new American colonies using two boards shaped in a V. Which we still see some wood gutters out there today.
I've seen a couple.
Yeah, right. And then as metal became more available, gutters were lined with zinc and made from lead. And then later on in the 1800s, cast iron and copper became to replace the lead gutters. And then it was the next major innovation in gutters came with the invention of the seamless gutter. Do you know when? What year?
I think it was in the 60s or 70s.
1960s. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it wasn't until the 80s that the seamless gutters became the standard affordable gutter system that we have today. So the fact that, all that came really prevalent in the 60s and then mainstream in the 80s, and Mr. Snell started the company in 78. So he was right there on the cusp of all that. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds like gutters are here to stay.
Absolutely.
I've got a quick question for you, Scott. What does Spectra mean? Like, what does that name come from?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer. So edit that when you're putting that out there. I don't know the answer to what that, I don't think it's an acronym. I'm sure it is, but I will find out after this and let you know.
Okay, cool.
That's awesome. So, that's about the gutter industry in the past. What do you feel about the gutter industry today and kind of the landscape of everything?
That's $1 million question, Tim. Obviously, you guys have seen it. It's not a secret what's going on in the world today with the economy overall across the board in the industry. It's safe to say that business is down about 30% across the board now. And I don't mean to sound braggadocious or pompous when I say this, but fortunately for us, the footprint that we have and the brilliance of our ownership, we have not seen a decline.
Really?
We're growing. We're actually doing extremely well as far as the growth of the company. And I will say that we can contribute a lot of that back to COVID. Y'all remember a few short years ago when crap hit the fan, right? And because of the relationships that our owners have with the mills and everything that we have and the buying power that we have, we were able to position ourselves because of our forward thinking and pre-contracting, things like that we've been doing for years. We had metal when our competition didn't. And one of the things that, I think really catapulted us to where we are today, a few short years later, is the fact that we were able to operate on that foresight. And the owners are not scared to invest. We're a slow growth company, but growth is at the forefront of every conversation that they have, right? And so when you saw everything that was going on during COVID, you had competitors of ours that were firing customers. No, we can't sell you product anymore because we've got to reserve what little bit we have for our largest customers, this and that, right?
Yeah,
right.
And so you had other competitors that were eliminating colors altogether. They would cut down their offering to 4 or 5 colors, and I get that. But the proud thing about that, or the exciting thing about that, and the fact that I'm proud to announce is we never eliminated any customer. We never fired any customer. In fact, we brought on customers. That's when we brought on the brothers that just do gutters, right? You're looking at bringing on a customer that does $15,000, $20,000 a month in material spend is one thing. But when you're talking about bringing on a freaking franchise that's got over 100 locations in the height of all this, when there's so many constraints on every facet of material that we had and the processes to get it through, it was asinine for somebody to even think that. but
Yeah.
not us. We embraced it. We knew it was going to be a bit tricky to maneuver, but I think, Grant, would you agree that we managed it pretty well and it's been an ultimate success ever since?
Yeah, what you guys were able to do during COVID, as I started to run circles, and we had just came back together because I was dealing with you guys in Florida. Immediately, I had Scott's team on hand, and we had all the colors. Now there was we still had some hurdles, but what they were offering us was fabulous, and they had it. They had it in stock. If they didn't, they got it immediately. They had it delivered. The communication was impeccable. And that's one thing that I continue to recommend Spectre to everybody is because of what he expounded on. I mean, they're loyal to a fault. Their communication has been absolutely fabulous. With me, I deal with them all the time. They deliver to me. Their pricing is fair. Their materials are good. And Scott and his team are literally just a phone call away. I mean, literally. And as I've over the past, just 6 months really been pressing and bringing more customers to Scott and to Spectra. I mean, they're calling these people the same day, the next day when I recommend someone. I mean, they're just on top of it. And it has made running a gutter business exciting again because when you don't have to worry about materials, like I've been having some fun. Now I got other things to worry about, but you can eliminate the material worry. It is fabulous. And Scott, you have done that, and I'm indebted to you, man. And it's just been great. Spectre's been awesome as a whole, and I deal directly with Scott, and he's led that up. And so I owe you a big, huge thank you, man.
Well, you're very welcome. And on behalf of the company, thank you for your support, man. Couldn't do it without you.
Yep.
I know that during the COVID times, I had a real hard time getting a hold of 20-inch coils, and you guys had them. That's where I ended up at, right there in Clearwater.
Now, so what Grant was talking about as far as the colors and stuff. Now, obviously, we've got 30 colors, and so while we didn't eliminate any colors, we did kind of alter the manufacturing schedule, so to speak, like those lower tier colors, like your blues, your greens, your reds. Whereas, we may produce those or run a production run every week, every other week. We might push that off a few weeks, but we never stopped altogether. But the more exciting part about that is, right? Like Grant was talking about, we've got a quality product. Now, during COVID, when again everybody else was shutting down and eliminating this and eliminating that and firing customers, Spectre stepped up the plate and said, hey, we're here for the long haul, right? And so our owners actually invested millions, close to tens of millions of dollars into our infrastructure as a whole, and invested in new paint lines, slitters, equipment to manufacture downpipes and elbows and the whole 9 yards, not to mention our landscape, our real estate and that kind of thing, as far as expanding the footprint. And so when everybody else was scared, thinking, oh crap, what are we going to do? Are we going to have a job? We were confidently coming into work every day, knowing that we still had a mission, and that mission was alive and well, and we had the support to keep on running and fighting a good fight.
How did you guys do that? Because I mean, nobody had coil. I mean, there's some people 2 months to get eggshell. How did you guys pull that off? Just huge orders?
I don't know the specifics of how that operation or how that side of the operation works, but again, I will say the fact that we've been doing this for over 40 years, and the buying power that we have and the relationships that we have with the mills allowed us to, and again, we've got a team that follows. We follow the London Metal Exchange, which is what the aluminum costing and stuff is gauged off of. We've got a team that follows that day in and day out. So the fact that they were able to have the foresight and see what's going on,
what was coming, and
contract early and get those commitments in, I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, that's huge. Absolutely.
You guys had opened that San Antonio branch right at that time. And I mean, we just pulled up there and that thing was full with all the colors. And Jennifer was working for you guys at the time. I think she went out to Denver or something.
Yeah.
And I could call her and be like, I know I don't see no green in there, but I'm going to need some green and I need a little bit of red. Okay, we'll have it, in a few days or within a week, or let me just make a call. We might even, and I mean, sure as crap, man, 2 or 3 days later, Hey, Grant, just wanted to let you know we got that full coil of greening for you with all the, what? Okay, cool. And it
I
just
think it
kept
took me
going
3 months
since
to
then.
get
I could
green.
call Scott, man, for some of the weirdest stuff, and hey, not then and not now.
That's it. We like to make it happen, man. We've got when I say we've got a phenomenal team, it doesn't stop with just the home office here. I mean, it's grassroots all the way down from, from East Coast heading to the West Coast. And so at every location, I feel very confident in saying you would get that same level of service at every location. And if you don't, like Grant said, give me a call and we'll make sure the connections are made and get that corrected. It's funny and sometimes some of my production team gets frustrated with me, but I don't like to say no. We're a company that, we strive to find a way to say yes. And, a few years ago, had somebody said that black gutters were going to take off the way they were, they would have told them they're smoking crack, right? But,
right.
It's one of those things. And so I tell the story often in jest, but I'm being a little bit serious about it. Tim, if you or Grant were to come to me and say, hey, Scott, pink polka dot gutters are going to be the next big thing. I want to be on the forefront of it. What have we got to do to get pink polka dot gutters in production and rent out? Then we're going to sit down. We're going to have a conversation about forecasting men's maxes and production times. And then 4 to 5 weeks, possibly because of the multiple paint process, it may take 6 weeks, but you will have pink polka dot gutters to transform your business to the next level. You with me? And
I testify that. Yeah.
Have you ever done any special color orders?
We have. We do it quite often. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd like to comment on that, Scott. I'm sure you're aware about 2 weeks ago, I asked Greg for something special, the couple downspouts and elbows.
Yes.
And I didn't know what he was going to say. And he said, well, let me make a call. Called me back and said, where do I ship it to? How do I get it to you? I'm going to pull something funny in Dallas, and then it's going to come down this way and we'll just make it happen. And I was like, okay. I mean, 3 days later, I've got this very unique situation that they made for me, speaking of colors. And I'm not going to show the whole world, but I've got it right here. And it sold an awesome job for us. And they didn't have to do that. They could have said no.
Yeah, easily said no. And I think most everybody would have said no. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have everyone's back for sure.
We try it. Now, obviously
Scott understands how to build a relationship.
And that's paramount, man. I mean, obviously,
how to keep that relationship. A lot of people know how to build them, and then just
we're losing them.
Go ahead.
You there, Grant?
Nope, I'm here.
Okay.
Yep.
We lost you for a second. But go ahead. Go ahead. Why don't you start that over? You broke up for about 2 minutes. Oh, we might be losing him.
Starlink must be passing over his house.
That's all right. He'll kick back on in a minute. As far as expansion plans, I know that you said you're gonna pretty much be doubling locations. What does that kind of look like?
Well, we've currently got, I know specifically for the past 4 months, I've been working and focusing my energy and efforts in the Midwest. We've got 10 locations that we've identified there that we'll be putting facilities in sooner rather than later. We've got a new, extremely creative idea that we're rolling out here in the next few short weeks that is going to just absolutely, I think, allow us to capture major market space out there. And I don't want to divulge that because we're extremely excited. We still got some kinks to work out. But again, it's just simply positioning us to better serve the gutter industry, right? And as far as the growth goes, and that's another thing to show you how committed we are. We don't just pop in and lease a space for 3 months or 6 months. They actually procure the property and invest millions of dollars into, not only that infrastructure, but the stocking of that and getting the right teammates in there and the equipment necessary to run and operate a business. So, that kind of stuff unfortunately doesn't happen as fast as I want it to, but that doesn't mean, just like Grant's been phenomenal about through his connections, through the forums and stuff that he's on, he hears somebody identify a need. He's like, hey, let me call my man Scott. He'll hook you up. And like Grant said, I'm burning a call to him usually as soon as he and I hang up, because I want to get it while it's still fresh, right?
Yeah.
And, we're calling those guys. And so as we continue to expand in some of these further markets that we're servicing now through LTL or extended delivery, those are the pockets that we want to continue to develop and grow, and then we can have a footprint there where it's justified at, right? But
that's gonna be awesome.
I don't care where you are. We ship product all over the country. We're not obligated to just the continental United States or North America. We ship material all over the world. Basically, we ship a lot of stuff down in the Caribbean, overseas, and stuff like that as well too. So we've got some phenomenal customers up in Canada. So again, the growth is there, and we're ready. I'm ready for that location to be opened up down in Hawaii, somewhere like that, so I can retire and go manage that in my retirement.
Are you guys putting one in Hawaii?
Yeah, I'll be with you down there. I'll come see you.
I don't know yet. It is on the board. I think it was put on the board in just simply because, like I said, there's several of us that would like to retire down there. And so, who knows, maybe in the future.
Yep. Where was the base? Your base was mainly on the East Coast and a little bit of the Midwest. Is it you guys are going more into the West Coast now? Is that what it looks like? Or?
Now we're servicing customers all the way to California up to Washington and stuff
already.
Like that. But as far as locations, Texas, Colorado is as far west as we are right now currently. Now there are some things in paperwork that's getting filled out. We're going to be continuing to further expand west, but yes, we are growing and going.
That's awesome. So do you feel like anyone in the US would be able to get your product if you could just ship it to them, even if they didn't have a location right next door?
Absolutely. We do it every day.
Yeah.
Do it every day.
Yeah. One thing I was saying earlier too, that I appreciate about Scott is when I was breaking up, he knows how to build the relationship very well, but even more so, he knows how to keep the relationship. And I've been in this business a long time, and I've built relationships. We're talking to Scott here, so it doesn't matter the other names, but everybody knows them. And it's so funny how quickly they forget about you. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I could speak, on the brand side of things, right? I mean, collectively, we spend a tremendous amount of money. But individually, through my decision making, I choose, to spend a tremendous amount of money with Spectra, and they never just push you off to the side once they get your money, and that's what a lot of people are looking for, and that's what I commend Scott in his business relationships, and I'm sure it's just as awesome if we lived a little closer to be his neighbor and just hang out. He's going to have your dang on back, and he does what he says he's going to do. Period. And that's just, it's been amazing. The relationship with Spectra has been amazing in the past and in the current. And I'm so glad that I'm back.
You got me wishing I used it more in the past.
I know, right? Well, maybe we'll talk to Scott and he'll start getting some Christmas lights or something, and you can buy something from him.
Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
Speaking of Christmas lights, is there any type of products that you're going to be coming out with that, anything new, innovative?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it's a vendor product that we have available to us now that will aid in the hanging of Christmas lights. As far as the specs and technicalities, I can't get into that, but it's basically just a simplified hook that you can go right onto the lip of the gutter. You don't even have to disrupt the cover. You just simply swap out the zip screw, slide the clip in there, and then hang your lights and go. So it goes back to all the things that we were talking about earlier about helping people that want to grow their business. I mean, nobody really thinks about it, but you think, for example, ground spouts. Now, I failed to bring one in here to show you guys as an example, but it's a universal downspout extender. And I can send you some links so you can show that if you want to include it. Plus, remind me, I've got a commercial that I would love to send you to incorporate into this that kind of highlights some of the manufacturing process. So if you remind me, I'll send that to you before I leave the office, and you can include it in here if you want. But
let's rock and roll.
the universal ground spout, for example, my boys started, and Grant knows this, but my boys are 10 and 13, right? And they love to spend money, and, you know, they want motorcycles and this and that. And, you know, they got four-wheelers now and they want new motorcycles. Okay, well, how much is it? Well, this one's only 3,700. I'm going, well, what are you going to do to get the 3,700, right? And so I said, I've got an idea. We live in a pretty big subdivision, and I said, Daddy's going to do something for you to get you that motorcycle. I said, you go find the motorcycle you want, bring me some pictures, and let's talk about it and explain to Daddy why you need that one. Right.
Yeah.
So they're all fired up. They're doing their thing, and they're coming back and they're selling their bike, right? Trying to get Daddy to bite. And while I was fired up for them and excited, I said, Daddy's going to get you those bikes, but not the way you think. I want you to be able to get those bikes. And so here's what we're going to do. I said, excuse me, I said, Daddy's going to buy for you the equipment that you need to go into business for yourself. So we set up a business account, Little Rascals. I'll actually send you a snippet of what it looks like so you can include that if you want to, because I think it's funny. And it goes back to the root of who I am. But you know, we went down, we set up an account, we set up a checking account, we went down to Lowe's, we set up a Lowe's all under the moniker Little Rascals, right? This is their business. We bought new lawnmower. Now, I didn't get big ride mowers. They wanted a zero turn, all that. We bought a push mower with a bagger. We bought a weed eater and a blower. You with me?
Yep.
And these cats are out there, they're cutting grass, and you know, they're recruiting help. And next thing I know, you got 7 other kids in the neighborhood. Hey, Mr. Scott, can we cut grass too? Can we cut grass? And so it's just, it goes back to investing. And what I mean in that is the fact that, you know, if we don't invest into our customers, and in this case, it was my children, and I treat everybody the same, right? If you're showing some fight and you got some ability about you, I'm going to support you. And I'm going to do everything that I can to back you all the way to make sure that you're successful. If you fail, that's okay, as long as you're failing forward, right? But if you don't have a mentor or leader there to help guide you back in the right direction, which is what you guys are doing for the industry, then they're going to fail and they're going to be left there. They're going to feel like they're failures and they're going to stop. Right.
Right.
And so,
that support.
I did not want that to happen for them. And so I educated them on marketing. And, you know, just like my granddad taught me when I was their age, like Grant said a minute ago, you got to do what you say you're going to do. So when you're talking to a man or woman, you look them in the eye and you do exactly what you say you're going to do. When you shake a man's hand, you don't do it sitting down, and you do it firmly. Right. And so and do what you say you're going to do. And so with regard to that, and tying that back into the Little Rascal story, you know, the ground spout, which we sell, and I'm passionate about it because that's how I got started here at Spectra. Real quickly, if you don't mind my sharing, again, I told you I didn't know anything about gutters, and I'm interviewing with the VP, and he asked me, he said, how would you sell this? And my immediate response was, what the hell is it? Right. And so he explained it to me, what it was, and I got fired up about it because I'm OCD about certain things and extremely anal about my yard, right? And so we had just invested thousands of dollars in the backyard, and we had new beds and stuff put in. Now in the front of the house, we've got French drains, in the back, just the downspouts, right? And so after every rain, that tacky little plastic splash block gets washed out in the yard and all my freaking mulch. So I'm back there raking it in, right? And when he told me what the ground spout actually did, he inadvertently turned a latent pain into an active pain for me, meaning that he provided me a solution to a problem I didn't know I had. And so I got fired up, and I said, can I have 2 of those, please? He said, absolutely. What color do you want? And I said, white. And so I took them home and I put them out there, and they looked like Fido's butt because all that brand new fresh mulch and that big white ground spout laying across there. And so whether I got the job or not, as silly as it sounds, I couldn't wait to get back till I could swap
One of that ground spout.
But they're pretty cool, man. They're made out of, you see some that's in the big box stores. You know, you will see the ground spout. That's the name, the ground spout. It's in a purple, yellow, and white box in there. You'll see those in Lowe's, Home Depot, and soon to be Walmart. But it's really unique in the sense that it's universal, no measuring, no cutting. It will accommodate a 2x3 downpipe, If you got a 3x4, you just simply pop the cap off, you slide it onto your 3x4, and then it doesn't stop there. It connects to a 4-inch round and then extend it up. You can connect as many of them as you want to get the footage that you want. The cool thing about them is they're made out of polypropylene, the same thing stadium seats and stuff are made out of, as opposed to polyethylene. And I like to compare a sheet of paper versus a piece of cardboard, right? But anyway, segueing back into the story, my boys have seen my passion for that. And again, I started on the retail side with Spectra. And so my team and I went out on a grassroots campaign to get that product off the ground and launched. But they've seen my passion about that. So they've known well before Little Rascals what the ground spout was. And so now when they're cutting grass and they see an eroded area in somebody's house, they may say, "Hey, Mr. Tim, can you come back here for a minute? Did you know that you had this issue here?" And I accidentally snuck up on them one day. I was walking across just to check on them, make sure they're fine. And as I'm coming near the back of the house, I hear my 10-year-old explaining to this lady the reason why she needed the ground spout, and then go into the polypropylene versus polyethylene. And I'm sitting there like a proud papa.
Wow.
I'm freaking fired up. My boy's out there crushing it.
You listen to everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like sponges.
So
Yeah,
they're
awesome.
elevating themselves in that regard. And then, when they get bigger, we'll, expand into the gutter covers and go into the next segment of their business. But that's how we go to market with each one of our customers. Again, if somebody wants to grow and they've got the work ethic and the character and the tenacity, then we can work with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's great you guys are bringing on that product. I feel like that's going to be a way a lot of gutter companies are going, because they slow down in the winter and they could cross-reference their customer base, get customers rather easily, and now they get a whole other income coming in, kind of fill that up.
Absolutely.
So
And we don't stop there, man. We've also got a research and development team that is absolutely doing some phenomenal things. And, we've got many new products rolled out. Again, I would prefer to not discuss it on this forum. Because I don't want to divulge all the trade secrets that we've got, but anybody that wants to grow and add not just increased revenue to their business, but at the end of the day, it's all about what? Profitability, right? So we've got the tools, we've got the products and services to help you increase your revenue exponentially, but more importantly, your profitability.
There's profits, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, we love those ground spouts over here, man. Yeah, buy those things by the pound. What's one thing to touch on that real quick that's pretty cool is you can take those old ones, you see, and they sun rot so quickly, and you could squeeze them. The first time I had a demonstration, I can't remember if it was Scott or Greg, but Customer Appreciation Day when we had one of those things, and they just stuck it there on the ground, opened it up, and then just stood on it, and it didn't crush or go flat or anything.
And hey,
Kip walked over with a sandwich in his hand and the soda and said, "Yeah, I guess we'll take a pallet of those."
They're that strong. You can stand on them.
As you can see, I'm a pretty big boy, Tim, and you can stand up. Now, if you try, you're jumping up and down, you're going to crush it. But just as far as dropping it and stand on it, and
it's not likely that the lawn guys are going to destroy them.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And then and the cool thing about it, like Grant was talking about, for example, your average home's got what, 4 to 5 downpipe. Okay, so let's just say that, rough number, let's just say you're buying the ground spout for $10.
Sure.
And you're charging 30. Now, when we first did the grassroots campaign, the landscape guys, pardon me, if the homeowner asked for a solution, they would go to a big box and buy one and come back. And the consensus was that they charged on average $35 for each one of those, right? And so from an installer perspective, from a siding guy, it doesn't matter if you're roofing, siding, landscape or otherwise, window washer, pressure washer, doesn't matter to me. If you want to make some money, Spectra can help you make some money, right? You're already there. You got the labor, you got everything that we just need to partner up and equip you to go out and be more successful. But in regard to this specific product, you're looking at a $20 profit. Okay, so if you've got 4 downpipe on that house, that's an $80 profit per house. Your salesmen and women could be doing this.
You got 10 houses a week. That's what, 800 or something like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And not just increased revenue. I'm talking increased profit. That's profit dollars we're talking about.
That should be a no-brainer. You should have ground spouts on every downspout.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you, Grant? Are you really pushing that, or?
Yeah, I mean, we're pushing a million things over here. And it's all Brothers Gutters and Spectra, everything that we push, right? So if Spectra offers it, we're pushing it. I've went from what I was doing at other companies, and Scott knows he has my exclusivity right now. Exclusively deal with my guards from Spectra, and I'll shout out my one gutter guard. I still deal with one gutter guard. But I offer 4 or 5 different levels of protection for gutters. I get all of that from Scott. And I talk about it all the time. I like to bundle and save with Scott, right? So put together a nice order. He takes good care of me. I can save a little bit of money. He makes some money. And if they sell it, we're selling it. And I know a little bit about some of the things that they have up their sleeve, and I am excited. We're talking about something else right now that they're going to get me some training on, and I want to be one of the first people to hit home on this. So look forward to hearing about that. The ground spouts, we call them additional work orders. So yes, I like it when my salespeople go out and don't leave anything on the plate, right? But that's not always the case, right? Sometimes the customer's got to get a taste of your accountability, your communication, and your service. And then when you pull up, our installers have an opportunity to maybe sell the back of the house, or maybe sell the ground spouts, or add additional covers. So all of my trucks are stocked just like moving businesses. They
They're
have
ready to
all
go.
the parts in them, all of the parts, ground spouts, splash box. But I mean, we get everything from Spectra.
How do you get the gutter guys to push that?
They get a percentage of the sale, right? So they're going to get their sales commission as long as they write it up, get their before and after pictures, get a signature, and depending on the size of the job and how much the customer's already spent. There's some difference in the deposit or something like that, but it takes them 5 minutes up to write up a new contract. They're all trained in doing that proficiently. So we have a good contract, and then they have all of these extra guards, blocks, you name it. These ground spouts, they have them all in the truck in different colors, sizes, shapes, so they can offer something quality to the customer. And maybe we'll knock the price down a little bit because we're already there.
Right.
But they get that sales opportunity, and our guys make percentage. So now they're able to install it, and they can what we call double dip, get the sale and the install. So it's really worth it for them. And training that is not always the easiest. Our first conversation recently, Tim, was obviously about retention and how new all my guys are. So
Right.
we work on one thing at a time, but that's the goal. Is for Spectra gives us these awesome products, and we try to just make sure the trucks have them stocked so they can sell them for us as well.
Sounds like everybody needs to stock them.
Yeah, get rid.
Agreed.
You got to
Say it
get these
louder,
big
say it
box
louder for
trucks.
those in the back, Tim. Say it
Everybody needs to stock them.
Get them, baby.
There you go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think a lot of people might want to check out Spectra because you never know. Something like COVID could happen again, and you want a company that's really going to have your back and you could count on, and honest, good people. And yeah, man, I wish I was using you guys more.
Yeah.
I can
me
tell
too.
you, let me tell you one other thing from my perspective too. Now we get deliveries, but we're getting a little on top of ourselves with no rain. And so, I was just at Spectra before I came here, grabbing some last minute stuff for a customer that wants to be done. They got it in stock. I was, how long I was at Spectra, and I ordered it 10 minutes before I got there. And I'm not saying the whole world can expect this. I can't speak for Spectra. But I watch how they take care of other people, and it's just how they take care of me. I ordered it 10 minutes before I got there, and I was at Spectra for 5 or 6 minutes. I wasn't waiting around for an hour and a half like a nobody. They know who I am. They care about me. They understand that this relationship is just as important to me as it is to them, because it works both ways. And it's fabulous.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff comes down to the leadership. If you got good leadership at the top, it kind of passes down, and then you got to, you create a good company culture there.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, segueing from what Grant was talking about, the expediency of that customer interaction. Obviously, we would love to stand around for hours and chat, but when you got a crew with, 5 people in there making $30 an hour, I mean, you do the math. That's a lot of money sitting there waiting. So you want to get your contractors in and out. And one of the latest additions to our line of wares is the box gutter coil. Now, a lot of people freak out when you talk about box gutter coil, right? Well, why would I buy it in the box? I buy it in ours. Stop and think about it for a minute. All right, for those guys, and again, there are several customers that have the ability to not only purchase but maneuver full coils around, right? But there's a huge segment or demographic of our business that doesn't have the ability. They don't have the buying power to do that. They're just getting started, whatever the case may be. They may have space constraints, but you know, they come in, they want to spin down. Let me get 100 pounds of this, or 40 pounds of this, 40 pounds of that. Well, what does that take? Additional labor, additional time, right? You've got exponential waste for both them and us with regards to that. So a solution to the problem that we identified there was the box gutter coil. And so the average home, you're looking at 100 to 100 something linear feet. So we've decided to go with a box gutter coil that's got 120 linear feet in there. Guess what? If you need more than that, buy 2 boxes. Why? Because it's dual painted. You're not committing to one color. It's dual painted. It's manageable weight. You can pick up 2 of them and walk out. To Grant's point, I can go pull a full order in less than 5 or 10 minutes and have you waiting on you when you get back to the door, as opposed to going and loading a full coil, bringing it up, spinning it down, wrapping it, putting it over here, and then going to pick the other product, right? It's stackable. Guess what? If I've got 10 different jobs for the day and I'm operating out of a Sprinter van, I don't have to have 10 different coils in the back of my truck. I got 5 different boxes that are dual painted, stacked neatly along the side of my van.
Yep.
And I'm rocking and rolling.
Yep.
I'm stacking them Benjamins, baby, because we've got getting it.
Yeah. No.
What colors is that? Is that just white, or is that you get multiple colors?
Multiple colors.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've been really excited about that because coming from Spectra in Florida, we used to get all the dual sides, and I love that, even though we had a big shop. But to Scott's point on the stackability, the first thing I noticed when I got these right is my guys, whether they have a full coil, partial coil, we teach them to cut the gutter so we're not wasting that 10 feet, right? As soon as they do that, now then maybe they wrap it up or they tape it, they just stick it in the back of the truck. It could get scratched up. This, you can eliminate the tape or the screw or the wrap and just spin it back up and slide it right back into the box. Now, if you have some type of inventory system, regardless how big you are, because I'm still processing this avenue for myself, it's just writing the date on there and the 2 colors, putting it on the scale and putting it on the shelf. And now, like my butt coils, I have a tremendous amount. They're all different sizes and shapes, and they fit on the stands differently. And these boxes, I have plenty of them here. They stock right up. I love them. They make sense for me for certain things. And of course, we have tons of full coils too, but the boxes are fabulous. If you guys don't know about the Spectra box gutter coils, please reach out to Scott. Scott, how do they reach out to you? What's the best way, or who would you like people watching this to reach out to?
I tell you what, the easiest way, I would love to give my cell phone out, but we've got a lot of crazies out in the world. So I'll let them get that from you. But I would suggest that you go to www.spectraguttersystems.com. Again, that's gutter systems, spectraguttersystems.com. Systems is plural. It's got contact information on there. You can get in touch with any of our local branches. You can actually see a link to your local area, see a map where we are as opposed to, or in conjunction to where you are, and then just ask any of my teammates how to get in touch with Scott, and they'll give you my cell phone number. I've got an office phone, but I never use it because I'm on the phone from the time I get on the road in the morning until my wife tells me, do not answer that phone again at night. So
I'm sorry I take up so much of your time, Scott.
You're good, man. You're good.
You call them at night, Grant?
What's that?
So are you the ones that are calling them at night?
I have a problem calling the direct office. I like talking to Scott. So, I like to place I need 2 elbows order through Atlanta so that it has to come back. I'll say that to anybody watching this, outside of reaching out to Spectra, if you need a little bit of a little push or a little counseling and, why I choose to use Spectra. I know that Tim would, and Tim has in the past, but he's out of that business now into this fun venture that's creating access for everybody that watches this channel. Feel free to reach out to me. I can tell you anything you'd like to know about Spectra and how fantastic the relationship that we have together is.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, just closing things up here, what's your kind of your vision of the future here of the gutter business and Spectra part that you're playing in that?
Well, obviously, our vision is quite expansive. I had conversations just this morning with one of the owners to expand on some things that we're currently working with as far as expansion. And it's just nonstop, where there's a need, there's an opportunity, and where there's a will, there's a way. And we're going to keep investing into and expanding both the team and the infrastructure to make sure that we're positioned to be able to be there and support. You look at the two guys, I can't remember their name now, that came up with Uber. They didn't create Uber to disrupt or replace the taxi cab service. They were standing on a corner. They identified a need. They provided a solution to improve on the taxi cab service. And you see what Uber is today, right? Now, I don't know how many billions of dollars that Uber is worth today, but that's where we're headed with Spectra, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does. And it sounds like it's a good company to kind of take over and get big because it's a good company, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Now, I know you guys are, as far as the gutter installation and the gutter contractors, et cetera, that's your target market here. But I will put this plug. We are expanding. We are looking for sharp, energetic, motivated, honest, hardworking people that are looking for an opportunity. And so if, I don't know the area, I do know, for example, in the Midwest, I'm personally trying to hire some salespeople out there. If you've got some sales experience or willing to be trained, and again, you've got a good work ethic and you're honest and coachable, apply. We've got positions all over the country that we're looking to fill day in and day out. So as far as partnering with a company to buy product and material from, obviously Spectra should be your first choice. But also, too, if you know somebody that's sharp, intelligent, again, honest, hardworking, and coachable that's looking for an opportunity, send them our way as well.
what's the best way for them to reach out to apply?
I'm pretty sure, and forgive me, I don't stay on it all the time, but I'm pretty sure there's a careers link on the website. If not, I'll have it added in the morning.
Okay.
But if not, they can just email me direct. It's my email is s.whaley, that's Whale with a Y, at spectraguttersystems.com, and I'll get them the link for the area.
Wow, that's a good opportunity. That's going to be a good opportunity, guys. Maybe you guys that want to get off of the truck or try something new, or you want to get out of the business but stay in the business, working with Scott would be fantastic. That's really cool that you have that availability right now. So don't sleep on this, guys.
And sales is an awesome position.
That's what everybody wants to get to, right? You want to either that or owning your own company, and not everybody can own their own. So sales is like the luxurious part. All my guys.
Besides owning your own company, I think salesmen make the most out of anybody. Some salesmen can make more than doctors. I mean,
oh yeah,
what you're selling and how good you are, but you don't have that limit there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. Absolutely. I've talked with many people in the industry over the past 5 years that are in sales, and it is quite ridiculous what some of them are putting down.
Yeah.
Somebody's willing to get out there and hustle. I mean, you think about, I was talking with a guy the other day, about expanding his business, and we were talking about covers. For whatever reason, he was kind of reluctant to get into covers, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, just simple math. Let's just take this generic cover here. You're buying it. Say I give you a deal. You buy it for $2 a foot. You charge $7 a foot to install it, right? And that's $5 that you're getting. The average home is, let's just say 100 linear feet for simple math. That's $500 profit that you're putting in your freaking pocket. How many of those do you think you could do in a day? I mean, if you're sorry, just do the one, but you're out there selling the jobs, you're getting a percentage of that. That example at the end of the day would have netted that young man and his company an additional $175,000 in profit. Now, who would not want to at least give a hand at that? I mean, $175,000 is a lot of money.
And most of the customers really need it. So you're solving the customer's need, you're putting more profit in your pocket, selling more Spectra product,
Right.
Sounds like gutter growth to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Scott, I appreciate you coming on here, and I think that was pretty informative for everybody. Definitely reach out to Scott, reach out to Spectra. You got anything to say, Grant?
Scott, you know, I back you fully. Same, Tim. We wouldn't, we're not going to have anybody on this channel that I don't think that we believe in. Tim has a huge voice right now, and I'm thankful to be a part of that. And Scott, you know, you have a huge voice and you run a massive team that is treating me with nothing but respect. So you've got my vote, and you know I'm all in with you, man. And we're going to be working on all kinds of cool stuff together. So I appreciate both of y'all being here today for all of us, and myself included, because I'm always looking to learn something new. See what you got up your dang sleeve over there.
That's
It
right.
sounds like there's more up the sleeve to reveal later on, so.
We'll have to have
Absolutely.
another conversation, Tim. I'm sure there's many more to be had.
Yeah, we'll have to have some part 2, 3, and 4 of this segment. How about that?
Absolutely.
good.
So,
Hey, I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks again for the opportunity. Thank y'all for allowing me to share the stage with such greatness here, man. Your tutelage and wisdom, I glean a lot from it. You guys don't know it, but I do watch your other podcast, and you know, I take and incorporate what I learn from those and incorporate that into my business, and it makes me better. So y'all have given me just as much as I've given you guys. So thank you again for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
thanks,
Be
Scott.
well.
All
You guys
right.
have a good day.
See you, buddy.